Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're taking our fourth look through my vintage Pan giant paperback collection, giving them a clean, getting them looking as good as possible. So sit back, relax, and let's take a look. Okay then, so we're starting off with The Proud American Boy. Now I can see already this one's got a tiny nick at the top of the spine, so we'll need to re-glue that in just a sec. Oh, here we are. Bus ticket. How many of these have we been finding lately? So I wanted to see what date this was, and this is 1963 in Pan form. What's that from? Oh, it's not British. That's good. Looks Italian to me. But then Bachelor's on the back, but definitely looks a foreign one. Keep it in my box of trinkets. Stuff we found in books. Honestly, it would be a video in itself. Sometimes they're really interesting stuff, you know. It's a little bit of glue on the top here. So I hope everyone is well. I'm just about recovering now from my recent endeavours with Whatnot on the main channel. They are sponsored by main channel for best part of a month, and we did some videos for them at Comic-Con, and I also did a live stream as well selling comics, and that was a lot of fun. I have to say, I did it with my son Sam, and we had some great fun doing that. So I do recommend the Whatnot platform. It's quite an interesting way to buy and sell, so books, comics, action figures, that sort of thing, you know. Now what we'll do, we'll get these sort of the initial repair done. Then we'll give them all a brush off and then finally a polish. So a bit of a three-stage process here. Now some of these are going to be a little bit the worse for wear, and that's because unlike the earlier series, and I've said this before, these are ones that I've tended to find in the wild. So they're not always tip-top condition. They've come from charity shops. They've come from jumble sales, boot sales, that sort of thing, you know. And there's a few, obviously, that are better condition, but there might be some here that I am going to pop on a proverbial upgrade list. Yeah, that one's looking a bit the worse for wear as well, isn't it? But those sorts of subjects are quite tough to find in nice condition. Got a Pef jacket as well. I think I will pop that on my upgrade list though. So X185, Minister of Death, Quentin Reynolds. And this one, which looks quite nice and square. And Cottrell did a few of these sort of books for Pan, and this is no exception. Got covered by W. Francis Phillips, one of my favourite artists. Certainly one of my one I enjoy. Not as much as Pef, he's my favourite, but Francis Phillips is great as well. The Durian Key, Michael Cohen. Looks like a Hans Helwig to me. Got his composition. This is a bit of a classic, isn't it? Ruin City, lovely spine on that one. X204. A little mark on the back, which the fingernail generally gets those little sort of indentation marks off. Yeah, that was quite nice. This is a good one. It's a Colditz the German story. So of course Pan had historically lots and lots of success with the Colditz story by Pat Reed. So this was another one that they could bring into print, and it's Reinhold Eggers was the camp commandant at Colditz, and this is his viewpoint. And in all honesty, he wasn't your typical Nazi. He wasn't horrible to the prisoners. He remained within Nazi law, but he wasn't like sadistic in any way, and he tried to make sure that they got their, you know, what they would entitled to, that sort of thing. And I think at the end of the war he was treated quite fairly because of the way he treated the Allied soldiers during the war. And this one's a bit of a mess, unfortunately. Corner tear there. Yeah, it's only the reprint of the Dam Busters. This is, I believe this was Pan's first million seller. Not in this edition though. It was in the more traditional numbered one, but this is a reprint. This is the 21st printing. Quite the worse for wear. I'm going to get a slither of glue into the bottom of the spine there. A very, very common title. Perhaps not so common in this particular cover, you know. The original cover, which is almost iconic, is turns up all the time. Although quite hard to find in first printing, I think. I think they printed the standard sort of amount, which would have been like 100,000, something like that. And then the book became even more of a bestseller. Yeah, not ideal, not perfect that, but not the end of the world. The Department of Queer Complaints. Carter Dixon. So again, a bit of a beaten up one. It's funny, my Carter Dixons in Penguin are a similar sort of condition. They're not the greatest. He's borderline, so I'm going to let it go. Next we've got Mr. Moses, X210. But yeah, a few of these on the surface aren't looking tip-top shape, shall we say, but I haven't really focused on the X's at all. They're all ones that have come my way through luck. You know, they've just sort of fallen into my hands and then consequently my collection because I haven't got one. Whereas like the numbered series, and I have tried to start on the great pans as well, I have started to try and zero in on the ones that I'm missing, and when I do that I generally have a certain level of quality that I stick to. His Son and Heir, one of those nurse stroke doctor novels that were all the rage. I have covered that particular phenomenon on my main channel, and there is a publisher over in America that are reprinting classic sort of nurse novels. That is nice. This is Death Comes as an End. So Christie here. Looks to be some sellotape residue or something just along this side of the cover there. Hopefully we'll be able to get that off with some polish, because on the face of it, it's a nice copy of this, and I really like this cover as well. Yeah, I like that one. So yeah, fingers crossed we can just put some polish on that and hopefully get it a bit better. Man with a Tin Trumpet. This is that photograph cover, the same as Dance Macabre. Nice nice copy of this one as well. Yeah, that's a nice one. The Case of the Nervous Accomplice, Errol Stanley. Pef cover on this one. Taking a leaf from Francis Phillips' book by just doing the different items with the big fingerprint there. Looks like we need to get some glue in the bottom of the spine, but that'll be easily done. Yeah, it's just coming away down here. It's a shame because it's a really nice copy. In fact, the actual cover is, it's come away. Not a great deal I can do about that. I can get some glue in that bit there, and just need to be sort of careful with that, because really it's not a bad copy at all. So I don't want to have to try and find an upgrade. One will come my way anyway, as it always does. There's quite a generous blob of glue gone in there. Push that side down first, bottom of the cover. Yes, all right. Lovely. I do like working with Pritt Stick if I need to glue anything. It's just so versatile, really, you know. Anthony Burgess, well, we'll see his most famous one in a little bit, which was first published in Pan rather than Penguin. I'll leave you guessing to see which one that might be. This is another one with just a tiny little bit of the bottom of the cover Just a smidgen of glue required. So one of the comments I had recently was, if this is video 95, because it was, I suppose, the 95th or 96th video, how many videos is it going to take before you've done your entire collection? And I've been giving that some thought. How long is it going to be? How many more videos till we've done the whole lot? I estimate at least another 50, I reckon. It might seem extreme, but there's a lot we've sort of neglected, really, in the more mundane sort of penguin series, like Pelicans and Science News and New Biology, and they are all going to need to be cleaned. And that's quite a nice copy of that. I do have other plans, so I'm going to stick that pile around there. I am hoping, the wife and I, to go move house next year. I think the time is right. Been here for a long time now, about 18 years, I think, so thereabouts. In fact, probably a bit longer, pushing 20 years we've been in this property. And that's the longest I've stayed anywhere since I left home. So we're overdue. And because I'm now going to be selling my a good portion of my toys, I'm going to create quite a little bit of room. And ultimately, what I want to do is build a downstairs library, sort of like on the ground floor, which can be a library. It'll be all four walls with an island in between, or in the middle. I can film there, so I'll be able to make it. It'll double as my studio basically, and the books will be the backdrop. And I'll be able to change that backdrop frequently. So you'll be looking at different parts of the collection, and I can have sort of books on highlighted out as well. I think it's going to be really nice. I've got a really sort of clear idea of how I want to do it in my mind's eye. So that's the plan sort of for next year. But consequently, what that's going to mean is I would like to get most of this stuff cleaned before then. And then what I'll do, my monthly pickups and cleaning videos will be the only videos that go out on this channel. Or if I'm cleaning like old toys prior to me selling them, I shall film it and put them on this channel. So there will be cleaning videos coming, but there may not be quite as many book related ones. But that's just how it's going to be, I'm afraid. I'm not going to go back and re-clean stuff that I haven't done. The only thing that I might do is go back and bag some of my books up. So some of the stuff that's particularly valuable or fragile, I'll pull to one side and we can have a final clean and bagging session, possibly, you know. There's the film title Von Ryan's Express. I watched that fairly recently, like in the last year, and actually really enjoyed it. It's a good war film, that. And you sometimes forget what a great actor Frank Sinatra was. He really was a good actor. Man Who Sold the Moon, a bit of classic Robert Heinlein. Good stuff. There's going to look how dirty the edges are. That's going to really benefit from a good brush, which we'll do in a minute. Yes, the first print, which I've got, was in 1955. This is the reset edition from 1963. So it was the first time it would have had that particular jacket on it. My friend Sandy. I do have a friend called Sandy. I wonder what she's up to. Always makes me laugh, this one. A little bit of page edge foxing on that, which I didn't realise I had. I thought I had a much better copy of that one. So, in fact, I'm sure I sold a better copy of that. So, missed quality control. Bethnal Green. Let's look at this. It's another movie time. Rita Tushingham. Mike's Aunt Bernard Lee from James Bond. What a tatty copy. So really, really grubby back. So I'm going to put this on my upgrade list. X230, Bethnal Green, Michael Fisher, upgrade, movie tie-in. So this is here on borrowed time. It's a very, very beaten up old copy, that one. Scramble. This one's alright. They're non-fiction ones. Britain's most decorated fighter pilot. Master stories of the 20th century. Oh yeah. I remember this one now. It's another one edited by Herbert Van Thal of the Pan Horror Stories fame. He was working for Pan full-time by then, and he edited all their sort of anthologies, and some good names there, actually. China Court, Rumour Godden, X251, quite a nice copy of this one. Enchanting, it says. The Case of the Sunbather's Diary, Earl Stanley Gardner. Fair enough. Oh, look. Miss Carol Hughes, in Hants. Bought on Monday the 15th of June 1964 on my way from work. Percy Collett and Sons. Well, there you go. You had to spoil it, didn't you? The XL Pearlesque Buck. This is in a bit of an old state. Look at the spine. Yes, not the greatest copy. This one, it does really stand out as being quite tatty for something that's really common. So X259, the Exile Pearlesque Buck. Stick it on the upgrade list. Raphael Sabatini, always worth picking these up. The Banner of the Bull. I immediately noticed it's got Richard Booth's bookshop there in Hay-on-Wye. Actually really great condition. Really great condition. Looks virtually unread. Got a name inside, but look at that. Taylor cover, which is a good one. But it's got that sticker on. Anyway, we are about halfway now, so I'm going to pull these bits to one side, because I want to just do the next step, which will be the brush. And then at the very end we'll do the polishing, but I'm going to do the brush as we go along. So I need to grab my brush first of all. Here we are. And let's flip these upside down. And I'll give these the old brush off, as they say. To do like a little pinch of them at once. Okay. As is usual, some are worse than others. Always the top edges, though, that are the worst. Sort of see the dust floating in the atmosphere. We'll do all the polishing at the very end. We'll go through them all one more time and give them all a good polish. and some will need it a little bit more than others. I suppose this would be good practice if I was a shoe shine boy, wouldn't it? I could do shoes very quickly. Lovely. Right, so that's us about halfway, bar the polishing. Okay, then, so Out of the Silent Planet. Well, we've seen a few editions of this from Pan over the years, and they did loads of different versions of it. This is the this is what, when I get a reprint with a different jacket, I'm always looking for that. So it's the 7th printing reset, but it would have been the first one with that particular jacket, and that's what we're going for with these reprints. Hitchcock, my favourites in suspense, part 2. I always think with these they could do a little bit better on the covers, you know. I think the Hitchcock ones just don't seem to have, I think any of them have got that many great covers, in all honesty. The American ones are a bit more adventurous, shall we say, and I tell you what, there is an awful lot of those Hitchcock endorsed ones. The Overlanders, Gallant Story, Accurately. Look at that, it's got a massive great line there, and it's quite beaten up. So once again, this is one of those ones that I suspect was like a find in a charity shop or something like that. So I'm going to put it on the upgrade list. 279, X279, the Outlanders, Gary Hogg. Yeah, I need a better copy of that one. Always like this cover. I'm pretty sure it's Francis Phillips. Yeah, WFF. It's just got his initials on the spine. This Sands of Mars by Arthur C. Clarke. Used to really enjoy Arthur C. Clarke when I was growing up. Haven't read him for decades, but I am going to try him. So we'll see if he holds up. I don't think my friend Steve, the Outlaw Bookseller, is much of a fan of him anymore. But I think I really liked him as a teenager. So we'll see how they hold up. And that's one I shall be trying. The Intrigues of Caroline Cherie. Okay. A little bit of a nick at the bottom of the spine, which we should be able to glue in. Oh, and some pencil on the back there. We'll get that as well. A little bit on the front. We're not going to be able to do much with that. Let's do the bit at the top here. Hardly seems worth it with the rest of it, doesn't it? But another bit in an awkward spot. I wonder what all the numbers mean. There we are. Yes, okay, but can't do much about that. But I mean, apart from that, it's not a bad copy. Let's get that little bit of the bottom of the spine glued in as well. Just needs a smidgen. Got a bit of glue that's from the last repair we've just done. So get that off. So need to get the first fold done. Another little bit of glue for the next bit, because it's 2-ply. That's what it is, 2-ply. There we are. Yep, that's about as good as we're going to get that. Okay. This is looking a bit rough as well. Look at the stay of it, missing the top of the spine. So, instantly on the upgrade list, X294, Boney and the White Savage, Arthur Upfield. Yes, definitely a rough old copy of this one. Dear oh dear. It's got a cover thing, that's a cover tear that's been, this awful sticker's been put on. Numerous faults. Yes, indeed. Not the greatest copy of that one, I'm afraid. A Surgeon in Rome, George Sava. He did all these sort of surgeon books. That was his thing. It was alright. This one's in a bag, but it's probably never been, it would never have been brushed. So we'll take, because I've had it for years, literally decades. So it's by one of my, well, not my favourites, but by an author I really like, which is Colin Wilson. Everything I've ever read of his, I've really enjoyed. And in the 90s, I did an event with Colin Wilson, because he lived in my neck of the woods. And there he is. I got him to flat sign a few vintage pans that I had in my collection. This is back in the early 90s, so it shows how long I've been collecting. But this has never been through the treatment, so I will do the edges and I'll give it a polish as well. Inside it looks absolutely fine. Then I'll pop it back in its bag. There's a little borderline one, but it's okay, just a romancy one. Here we go, The Night It Rained. We've had some real heavy weather in where I live at the moment, lately. Once again, a few little faults, but nothing major. You know, they're just sort of borderline. And the copies will do until, you know, better ones come along, basically. Now this one we've got 2 copies of. This is the first one. And this is printed on slightly weird paper, so it's really thick. Very unusual. I've got like the regular edition, which is this one. So I've got 2 copies of this. And this is printed on normal paper. This one, for some reason, is just thick. It's the same book. It's the same printing, just on different paper. So the book consequently ended up being much bigger than the other one. Really weird, an unusual thing. Now apparently there is an edition of Live and Let Die which is like that, the Fleming one, which is worth looking out for. It's like a variation, you know. I'm not usually too fussed about those sorts of things, but it came my way, so I decided to keep it. Another novel shoot here, Pied Piper. Okay. House of 10,000 Pleasures. Blimey. 10,000? How many pleasures does a person need? Evidently 10,000. Right. Let's get on to another stack. Bold Perry Mason there, The Case of the Gilded Lily. That sort of strikes mid-60s, yeah, 1964. And doesn't it look like 1964? The Implacable Hunter. That's not too bad. Violetta. Looks like another one of those romance ones. Another Agatha Christie, Death in the Clouds. W. Francis Phillips. Oh, that's quite nice. It's a bit like a Dell map back. It's got where the passengers are seated. That's quite cool. Tiniest little bit at the bottom of the spine there. Yeah, look at that, it's just come away. So I'm going to pop some glue just in that bit there. Just where it's come away a little bit. Get in. There we are. Should be enough. Yeah, there we are. Just a tiny little bit of glue just to keep that nick from getting any worse. Another Raphael Sabatini, Fortunes of Captain Blood. You get up to a few things in the old Captain Blood. I hear they are very, very popular though. I've never read one. I don't really go in for pirate literature like that, but it makes you laugh. Got 150. We've seen loads of Neville Shute today, haven't we? I know there are a lot in Pan. Most Secret. Here's that one. This is the original paperback printing of A Clockwork Orange. Long before it became a penguin, it was a Pan, because Pan were publishing his other paperbacks at the time. So it's a scarce book. My copy's not great. I've had two only through my hands, and this was the better of the two. Goes for, well, it doesn't sell for a fortune. I'd say the original Penguin David Pelham one is more collectible because it's got more of an iconic cover on it. But this one tends to go for, I don't know, anywhere from £8 to £15. So it's not a fortune to go out and find it. Far cheaper than the original hardback, which is about £1 now. It's not a bad book. I'm not a massive fan of it. I remember at the time when the film was banned and you couldn't just buy it on DVD or Blu-ray, I suppose I was at the right age where it sort of appealed to me, and the fact that it was like a banned film was quite appealing. I remember we had a bootleg video copy of it going around, and I did buy it when it got released on DVD, and I enjoyed listening to the commentaries that were on it. But it's not the greatest of books. It's okay, but it's not one that I would ever go back and read again. So there you go. But yeah, that's the very first time it was in paperback. The Genial Stranger. Pretty nice copy of that one. Bomb in the Attic. So this one, I actually have the original artwork for this, the front jacket, by Hans Hellwig. It's not massive, but it's nice. It's got the Pan logo and that on. It will be the artwork that I have got. Now I've got a few bits of original artwork, paperback covers and comic strips and things like that. I'm going to get it all framed and have that on display in the library when I eventually move house. Here we are, Zoo Quest to Madagascar, David Attenborough, the legend that he is. Pan were his first ever publisher, in paperback anyway. Zoo Quest was the name of his TV show. He did a show called Zoo Quest. Georgette Heyer, Arabella. It's got a few marks on the back, but I generally don't get too hung up over like romancy ones, so I'm going to let that slide for the time being. Am I? No, I'm going to stick it on the wants list. X328, Georgette Heyer, Arabella. It has got a bit of a rough spine as well, so. Thing is, I'm making a wants list, but there's so many I just haven't got at all. So you'd think I ought to, in fact I generally do, try and get the ones I've never ever owned and then fill in, upgrade rather. This is one I've had since I was a kid. It's this exact copy, I believe, from my early days of Pan book collecting. Remember it really well. Once again, it's got a little bit of bottom of the spine coming away there. Seems to be a common fault with Pans of this period that have been reasonably well read, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. So I think this might be a 2-ply affair unless we get lucky. I think we're going to be lucky. Yeah, that's alright. Got both bits. The Heart of the Storm, David Beattie. So once again, what I've done is filled up a comic box with 2 rows of paperbacks, which is what I usually do per cleaning video. And we are almost at the end. So we'll give these a brush down in a sec. And then we shall get polishing for the last part. I've got 2 copies of this. This is Jim Clark at the wheel. He was a famous racing driver. Once again, I thought I actually had a better copy of this one, but I believe it is reasonably scarce. But I've definitely had more than 1 copy of it, that's for certain. That's misprinted there, because I sent a copy to a friend of mine who is a big racing enthusiast in the States. But that's the first print, and it's got some indentations there, so definitely wouldn't mind getting a better copy of that. And this is the second print, which I got a couple of years ago, which is updated, basically. Got a slightly different jacket, got that flash on. But apart from that, it's basically the same book, and this one's better condition. I got this one at a toy fair, of all places, but they did sell a lot of like die casts and stuff, so I'm guessing that's probably why it was included. And you do find the odd interesting book at a toy fair, you know, so there you go. Anyway, that's those 2 stacks done. So that's all the books we're looking at today, but let's give this first stack a brush. So I'll grab a few here, and these are going to need the treatment in a minute, so brush first of all for these 2 stacks, and then we'll get polishing. quite a bit of dust off that Colin Wilson there, so that was good. There we are. Stuck here. Dust in the atmosphere here. There we are. Right, so let's let the dust settle a minute, and we shall get polishing. Right then, so back to the start. That's a fairly clean bit of duster. Nicely soaked. We'll start giving these the once over. Now, some will definitely need a little bit more than others. This one's not too bad at all, in actual fact. Some will be certainly quite bad and will really benefit from having a clean. So yes, this is one of the few PEF covers we saw today. Now, I am doing a special on PEF. My friend Tim was given PEF's photograph archive, where he posed him, his brother, his wife, in various poses, and he used those photographs as the basis to do his beautiful painted covers, you see. So we're going to be doing like a side-by-side comparison of the photographs and the scans of the books, and I think it'll be really nice. So look out for that on the main channel in a couple of weeks' time. It's going to take quite a while to put that one together, but I think it's going to be really good, and a little homage to PEF, my favourite pan artist. Got to meet him the once. Nicest guy in the world. I wish I had my photo taken with him, but not to worry. Yeah, that was really nice, actually. friend who's been rewatching the Colditz BBC TV series from the early 70s. Been really enjoying it. I'm not surprised. It's an absolutely top show. Really, really great. Based on the two Pat Reed books. Got a lung full of polish there. Not quite, but I sometimes feel I should have the air purifiers on when I'm doing this part of the job. Now this one was quite a bit of tape on, so I'm going to apply it fairly liberally on that part of the cover. See if it does lift any of it off. I don't think it's got any by the feel of it. No. Okay. Really nice copy of this one. This is one I got from Dorset Bob on one of my trips. There we are, that's the first stack done. That's looking good. First of 4 stacks. Lovely. A heat wave in Berlin. Never been to Berlin. I was hoping to get to Colditz this year and actually visit, but would never happened because I'm going to go with a friend of mine who's a big military history buff, and it's like having your own tour guide, in all honesty. So we were going to do some other sites as well while we were there, and he is really he's self-employed. He's got a lot of work on at the moment, so he wasn't free to do it this year really, but we are going to set the date before the end of this year to book it in for next year. So that should be really cool. Looking forward to that. And one of my followers on Twitter recently went there, and the actual sort of the tourist side of it, so there's quite a bit to see from a tourist's point of view, is expanding all the time. So by leaving it another year, he said there'll be even more there to see when you do go. So I am looking forward to that. It has been a long time coming, I can tell you. So over on the other channel, it's rapidly approaching an amazing 25,000 subscribers, which is really a great achievement. I'm really pleased about that, and quite a nice little milestone to hit. Awful copy of that one. But I'd much rather keep it in any condition, rather than not have it at all. So that's my motto with some of these. Certainly with the penguins, the wartime ones, they're so scarce. You just have to accept whatever's out there, really. 2 done. It's only a shorter stack, that. Trying to think if my friend Tim has got the original artwork to this one. He's got a couple of the Hitchcocks, I believe. Maybe more than 2, I don't know. So I'm actually going to be doing 2 videos today. After I've done this one, I'm going to be immediately starting another one for the main channel. It's a look at the British Science Fiction Book Club. And I've had a few in my collection, which have come my way over the years, and I bought a few last time I went to All You Need Is Books, Zardoz Books. He had a few early ones which I picked up. And I picked up a little job lot off eBay, which I'm going to clean up on the other channel and also talk about the Science Fiction Book Club whilst I'm doing it. So if that does interest you, head over to the main channel and that'll be on there in about a week's time from when you watch this video, if you're watching it when it first goes out. But yeah, some good stuff over there, and I'm actually in the middle of reading one in the Science Fiction Book Club format, because they're all hardback, you see, by Keith Roberts. It's called Pavane. I don't know if you've heard of it, or Pavane. But it's really, really good. It's like an alternate history book, and I've been enjoying that. Really, really well written. It's basically like 5 novellas, because I think the 5 or 6 parts to it were originally published in the New Worlds, you know. But yeah, that came out in that format, and it's really good. Now, while we're here, I'm just going to slip this one back into its bag. Just because it's nice condition, and it is a signed one. I want to keep it nice, or as nice as possible, shall we say. But I really am hoping for a solution to storing paperbacks. I'd love the case idea, the plastic case idea, to take off, but sadly the chap who makes them, GW Acrylic, he had a heart attack. The nicest guy you could ever want to meet. He had a heart attack, and he's still recovering in that, so still trading. The business is still trading, but he's not had, I think, time to really devote to the new sizes, which is a shame, because I know there's a market out there for it, and I fear that if he doesn't do it, someone else is going to step in, and he would have had the chance to be there from the start, so well, we'll see. Okay. That's the third stack done. And we are on the last pile now. So I hope you've enjoyed looking through these. I certainly have. It's been some good stuff today. I always enjoy going through and cleaning my pan books. They are a nice part of my collection. The Implacable Hunter. I don't think we've had any that have been really bad today. We've not had any with really bad nicotine stained spines either, which is quite good. Now, looking ahead, we've got next week, it's going to be, I believe it's the 100th video on the channel. The 100th new video, that is, which is quite a nice little milestone. And it's going to be Modern Hardbacks Part 3. So we'll carry on with the Andrea Camilleri books and other more modern fiction in my collection in hardback. First edition in a lot of cases. So that'll be next week. After that, I believe we're due a penguin related one of some sort, so we'll have a look. It may be we do some pelicans, because I've got the next pelican video due to be done on my main channel, and I'd like to get the books cleaned before we do it. So I'm going to look back and see where we were at on the pelican cleaning front, because it's been ages since we've done any. I'm sure we've done the first 100 or so, but I'm not sure if we've done much after that. I just can't remember. Yeah, copy's not great, unfortunately, but as I said, it's not the end of the world. It's not my favourite book. It's just, you know, I've never really been able to get into Anthony Burgess, so maybe I'm just reading the wrong ones, you know, I don't know. He did write a lot, didn't he, though? The Demure Defendant. Very demure. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I certainly have. If you've enjoyed it, looking at these gorgeous pans, do please give the video a thumbs up. If you've not already, please help the channel out by hitting the old subscribe button. It really does help. I don't do channel memberships over here, but I do have a Patreon under Jules Burt, patreon.com Jules Burt, and we also have channel memberships over on my main YouTube channel. So if you want to support this one, do head on over there. Thank you very, very much for watching today, and I shall look forward to seeing you again in a week's time. Bye.